So I wanted to make this video to make it clear to people that I'm not in a contest with some Americans or something like that. I'm not in no contest with people like that. And they think this contest is about I don't know, to be honest with you. Because my understanding of a contest is to see who's most competent, right? That any contest I don't care if it's basketball, football, the whole object of a contest is to see who's most competent, who has the strongest strengths. I've already proven that to these Americans that I have the strongest strength. I'm more competent mentally by revealing to you 44 states is marrying children. I'm more competent virtually speaking for a spiritual virtue because the Lord on my behalf has stricken your community with sickness and destruction. So whether it's the mind, the spiritual part, what other part is there to see who's most competent? So what we have here is sore losers. We don't have a contest. We have sore losers who refuse to go home after their defeat. That's what we have here. That's what we have. We have people that are refuse to go home. They're obviously defeated with 44 states marrying children. It doesn't matter if it's with consent or not. It's the fact that the government has passed laws that allow an option for children to be married. There's an option within the American government for children under 18 to be married. Contest over, buddy. So all we have here is sore losers. So here's what's going to happen. As a prophet of God, I speak that these people are now in a contest with God. Contest, whatever they talking about that is, that's now over into the hands of God, and now they're fighting God. Because God stands for me. And let me tell you, American, something. You know, you really shouldn't be a reference points for what God is going to do and not do, and who's God with and who he's not, who he's with. You're not a good reference. You're not a good guide for that kind of thing. You know, if you look at the state of this country, I wouldn't trust pretty much practically anybody because you got all these Christians, but they didn't know anything about 44 states marrying children. They don't speak up when they should speak up. So why would I trust in your spiritual intuition when you can't clearly see what's in front of you? See, I was led to it. You know what that tells me? That there's something on my life that you could also have too. I'm going to let that resonate. Because while you're trying to esteem me as some special person, you could do the same thing. So why haven't you done it? Because you have lacked diligence. You have not sought God. You sitting back acting like you're some reference point for who's who in the kingdom of God. You're not a reference point. Who's going to take the advice of some Las Vegas style country on what a Christian is? You're basically a whole Las Vegas country at this point. And you think we're going to listen to who you believe is a Christian and who you believe is not a Christian. Sorry, I'm not looking to you for that. I'm not looking for you for that. But I'm telling you what's going to happen because these people have clearly been defeated. And since the American community and probably the government is allowing them to just do whatever they want to do, then everybody has to suffer. Okay, this is how it goes. Let's just put it like this. If you were in an arena, in a blood sport coliseum arena, and everybody would be, and the police came in, everybody there is going to jail. Not just the two people fighting. The referees going to jail, the audience is going to jail, the people that hand out the snacks are going to jail, the people that are sitting, a part of the facility, cleaning it, everybody's going to jail. if there was a blood sport going on in a Coliseum arena, this is just an analogy. If there was a blood sport going on in a Coliseum arena and it was illegal, when authorities, if you will, would come and see all that is happening, it's not just the people in the center of the arena actually fighting. Everybody's going to jail. So therefore, everyone that's looking at this and saying, well, I'm not a part of it. I'm just looking. No, well, hey, you shouldn't be in the arena of looking into someone's life. Let me look that resonate. You shouldn't be in the arena of looking into someone else's life. You should not be in the arena of looking into someone else's life. Well, who told you? That could be considered stalking. That's a charge, That's a real charge, You should not be looking into the arena of someone else's life. You should not have your eyes fixated on the path of someone else's life. See, I'm gonna tell you who taught you that. The streets, these hood politics, the street politics, they taught you to fixate your eyes on someone else's life. And I'm gonna tell you who taught you as far as the government. All these illegal surveillance for institutions. Let's put it like that. So whether it's the government or whether whoever it is a part of the government that put people under illegal surveillance, this is where these Americans have learned it from. They learned it from the hood politics, the street politics, and they learned it from the government. So the bottom line is, God is bringing judgment, and you could try to punch me as much as you want, play with me as much as you want, thinking you're doing something that you're not. You're not affecting really how I move. I just don't interact with you anymore. That's the difference. I don't interact with America. And that's the bottom line. So there is no me and someone else in a contest at this point. I've made it clear that I am the most competent among them, the most strongest among them. I mean, all the people that they used against me, here I am, still standing. Here I am, still in my right mind, human, but in my right mind. Here I am, and here they are with all the sufferings that they have, So I mean, it's without saying, I'm the victor, That's the bottom line. I'm the victor. They're sitting back trying to save face. For you Americans that don't know what that means, look it up. If you don't know what it means, look it up. They're trying to save face, with their face torn off. But they're not going to be able to save face in this situation when you got 44 states marrying children. Now, how are you going to save face in that situation? Oh, it's a real law. Just in case you think I'm making it up. It's a real law that allows adults to marry children as an option here in America. Not some other country. We're talking about right here. I don't care what other countries do, because America is quick to bring up how no country can compare to them. So then why compare yourself at any point? If no other country can't compare to you, when we start talking about these real hardcore issues of ethics and morality, then don't compare yourself to other countries. You don't do it when you're on top. You don't do it when you're doing good. So don't do it when you're doing bad. When you start doing bad, now, in other countries, I don't care about other countries. When it comes to you, because you have not felt that anyone is to be esteemed on your level. So then don't esteem anyone on your level then. Don't esteem anyone on your level. Don't do it. When it comes to 44 states marrying children, don't esteem anyone with you because you've act like you've been above the pack, you've been above the crowd, you've been above the people. So won't you stay right there? When we talk about 44 states, don't look at nobody else. We talk about you. We talking about you. And there's no way you can think you can win against me, be it your government, be it your community, be it anybody here. Because you're a part of that. In order for you to have beaten me, you have to come out of America and fight me without America's support. That part. Let me let that resonate. As long as you're using American support, as long as you're using American finances, as long as you're using American resources, as long as you're using American people, as long as you're using American technologies, you are a part of the 44 states marrying children. You can't use the country, you can't use the resources and the people and then say, I'm not a part of that. You don't have the luxury of doing that. That's like, okay, people in Germany, let's just say when the Nazis was there in Germany, if there was a community within Germany that says, oh, well, we're not a part of the Nazis, but we're going to use their technology, we're going to use their people, we're going to use their community that's guilty of certain things, right? Their government, let's say the Nazisms is the government. Let's just put it in, well, Nazis were the government. So you can't interact with a Nazi government and say, well, we're not a part of that part. We don't believe in fighting the Jews. We don't believe in this part that they're doing over there. People are going to look at you like, but you're still part of it, though. You're still supporting it. You're still using Nazi resources. You're still using Nazi people. You're still using Nazi money. So if you really didn't support something, you would rather die than be part of a Nazi government, right or wrong. You wouldn't say, well, we got to survive, so we're going to be a part of these Nazis. We're gonna use their resources. You wouldn't want to be a part of it at all. And here's the punchline. It's not about the name Nazi. It's about what the Nazis do. It's about their principles. Same thing with the American government. You cannot say you're not with them when it comes to their principles and the things that they do, just like Nazis. If Nazis do certain things, that's why you don't mess with them. That's why you don't deal with them. America is doing certain things. They're marrying children in 44 states. And you don't have the luxury of saying, well, we are not a part of that part. Well, what if it was a Nazi government doing whatever they want to do? You're going to say, well, we're still a part of them. We're still with them, though. We just don't agree with that part. It's too strong of a contradiction of America to have 44 states. 44 states. That's a 4 and a 4, by the way. That's not 0-4. That's 44 states marrying children, sitting up with people that support them, and they sitting back thinking, well, I'm not a part of that part. If you're taking their resources, you are. They owe me money. So whatever I take is not support. That part. Or them supporting me. They owe me money. So everything that I get from them is debt. So there is no relationship because they give to me. That's where I'm at. Why you think I'm still dependent on them, that's debt that they owe me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take it either way it go. I don't have to have documents on it. I'm still get it. So understand my relationship with America versus yours. They owe me tons of money that you don't even know about. And God is with me concerning this money. I'm not talking about money for Christians. I'm not talking about money for black people. I'm not talking about money for um, American like-minded people. I'm not talking about, money that for anti-Illuminati, some other group that was anti-Illuminati before I was. I'm not talking about money for anyone but me, because I'm the one that went through it the way I went through it, in the magnitude that I did go through it. None of y'all went through it the way I did. So please separate your case and your situation from my situation. We're not together. If you've been gang stalked, I'm sorry, but you have not been targeted like I have. Okay, I've been targeted culturally, community wise, and government wise, police wise, everything. Okay, so that being said, there is no one that's standing with me that is going to get this money with me. It's me on it's me on my own. So if you think you're supporting me on this, now if you support me personally as a person, which that's the part the American community ignored the whole time. My personhood, they think they know me, but they don't. They think they know what I do, but they don't. So, but if you do know who I really am, and you do know what I do, and you support me personally, who I am as a person, you know who I am, you like who I am as a person, you're good, but they're not, because they have been ignoring who I am as a person the whole time. They've been ignoring it the whole time. And that's that proved to be fatal. That proved to be very fatal when you ignored who I am as a person, and you ignored my emotions, you ignored respecting me, and now you realize, looks like we disrespected the wrong person. Yes, you did. And you're not going to make up for it by making me some king or some type of person that helps your society. Why would I help 44 states married children? Why would I support a system that does that? When I'm sitting here saying it, I'm the one revealing it. Why would I then turn it around? Why would I then turn around and support and be a part of something like that? Now, it could have been anyone else that revealed that, and they could have thought what they done to me was wrong, and they wanted me to be some leader in their community, and maybe not in my life, but someone else's life. They would have thought, well, okay, I'll do that. But why would I do that when I know who you really are with 44 states marrying children? No, buddy. And that's where me and you separate. That's the foundation. The foundation is you're marrying children and I'm the one revealing it. And so why would I be with you? And at the same time, I still rule and reign over you through information of this. Your community didn't know it. Your culture didn't know it. Therefore, as far as integrity and morality and educating myself, and you not educating yourself, I rule and reign whether you give it to me or not. Oh, by the way, that's just by the way. I rule and reign whether you say it or not. Through information, not through demonstrations of spiritual power, not that. Through information about your government and your community and what they did not know and what they have done. So through ignorance or proactive behavior to marry children, I rule over you. Let's get that understood for people that say, well, that ain't my king. Well, I don't have to be. I rule over you. I rule over you through a higher dimension of understanding about your community that you don't even know about. How can you rule over me when you're ignorant? How can you rule over me when you don't even know something this important? While you're trying to act like it's not that important, that's convenient for you. That's why I love the word convenience. Because it's convenient for you to act like this is not that important. Because if you did act like it was important and esteem it as it is, it would be your detriment. It would be your demise. So it's convenient for you to act like it don't mean nothing. But understand that I'm smart enough to know that that's how your attitude is going to be. And I'm still going to enforce this. And through that enforcement, I rule. Yeah, that's the big surprise, is the fact that you're the one that's messing with the children. Out of all things, how beautiful is that for me? You know how beautiful it is for me? You know why it's beautiful? Because you accused me of things. You still play games and try to test me and try to refresh it and try to regurgitate it and refry it. And you try to do all these things. And we come to find out that it's you, the one that's doing it. You don't think that's beautiful for me? For all the black people in the community that use your children against me? Yeah, they had to use you. I mean, I'm not in white neighborhoods. They had to use you. I'm not in some ethnicity, like Irish or something like that. I'm not in the Irish neighborhood. No disrespect to the Irish. So they had to use black and Mexican and Latinos. You don't think I know that? And unfortunately, you must know this and hear this. You don't have the luxury of playing with people without repercussions. I'm sorry. You could be the first man. You could be the original man. I don't care what kind of man you are. Because in the Bible, I can show you where you could be the people of God and die. Do the wrong thing, you die. So your identification does not clear you from God destroying you for being in sin. It does not clear you. You can be the original man. I can show you could be God's true people. And I can show you where God's true people was destroyed. In fact, the Bible says God's people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So there's a destruction right there already. Just in case you thought you was invincible as the original man. Just in case you thought you was invincible as black people. God said his people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You already got a foundation awaiting you if you get arrogant enough for destruction. You think you just don't need to know stuff? You think you just need to walk around and be black? That's not good enough. You'll be destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And you're being destroyed as Americans because of the stuff you did not know. If God said you're destroyed from a lack of knowledge, isn't it safe to say you could be destroyed for a lack of information as well? I mean, that's just an educated assumption. The Bible says you can be destroyed not by tanks, not by missiles, not by people, not by poison, not by other nations. It says you can be destroyed from a lack of knowledge, right? God's people. So how much more America not being God's people, can they be destroyed from a lack of knowledge and a lack of information? Well, you didn't have information on 44 states marrying children, buddy. And guess what your community did? They gang stalked me, played psychological games, trying to test me with their community, using their children to see how my body language was with their children, to see how my thoughts were with their children. And you got 44 states marrying children. Well, looks like that information destroys you because you contradicted yourself too sharply by playing with me and making me out to be some sexual predator. That all is your detriment. Just in case you thought you was going to walk away from it and be nice and say nobody's perfect. Well, this has nothing to do with imperfection. This has something to do with you going in a direction in ignorance, not even knowing your own country. You don't even know your own country, and that information is your destruction, because if you knew your own country, then you wouldn't even be playing with me in the first place. Hey, you would just say, hey, well, the government is marrying children, and we can't play with this guy. But you didn't do that, did you? You didn't do it, did you? So guess what that means? You don't get to walk away without paying me money or dying. You decide your destiny. And see, for you Christians that think that who this guy think he is, you want me to go show you in the Bible? Men like me? Well, I can show you Elijah. Elijah killed 42 children. Somebody say, who that guy think he is to kill children? Well, you look right in the Bible, the prophet Elisha, Elisha, the prophet Elisha, not Elijah, he killed 42 children with the curse of the Lord. Now, most of you Christians here would say, hey, well, he should have let that go. He should have had the fruit of the Spirit. Let me let that resonate. He should have had the fruit of the Spirit. He shouldn't be worried about no kids. What about the fruit of the Spirit of long suffering? He should have suffered long, no matter what they did. Okay, so then why did God let it happen? Why didn't God say, oh, those are just children. My prophet just has to go through it. Why did God authorize his power against those children then? You can't explain it, can you? But you got all the answers, right? And that's what I'm saying. See, a lot of you Christians sit back and you don't think that God's people have power to do things that God didn't necessarily set out to do. God gives his people power to do things that God did not plan on doing. Well, God did not plan on killing those 42 children that the prophet Elisha killed. You can't explain it. You can go listen to a million preachers tell you the interpretation on that scripture. And the bottom line is it happened. That's all I care about. You can get into the emotions, the emotional part of it. Whatever you think it is, if you think it's sin or whatever you think it is, whatever you conjure up with your philosophies, the bottom line is that the prophet Elijah killed 42 children with the curse of the Lord, and God allowed that power to go through. While you sitting up talking about the fruit of the Spirit. If I did that, you saying he lacks the fruit of the Spirit. And you shall know them by their fruit. Well, then why did the prophet Elijah do that then? Why was he okay? Why did God authorize power to allow him to do it? Instead of walking in the fruit of the Spirit the way you thought he should have did it. See, you think you know God. And you're just as American and carnal as just the rest. A lot of you are. You just as carnal as the rest of these people are. And and beware of who you put your mouth on, because see, even though I got my vices, I'm educated and I understand things, and so be very careful, with what you play with, because you're walking around here as Americans uneducated. Why? Meanwhile, 44 states right now are allowing adults to marry children. It's happening right now, not tomorrow, not 5 years from now. The atmosphere that you stand in presently is allowing adults to marry children. That's the atmosphere now. Whether you want to accept this or not, whether you want to ignore it or not, when you support and say you're American, that part you have to take as well. If you was in Germany and said, I'm a German, and the Nazis run your government, you would have to take the Nazi part as well. You can't be, because you're all working together. You would at some point be supporting the Nazis. If you were in Germany, talk about you're a German, a patriot, a German patriot, and the government is Nazis, which means they're all throughout the community. At some point, you're supporting the Nazis. It's the same thing with the American government. They got 44 states marrying children. And the government is within all the wiring of America. So at some point, you're supporting the 44 states that marry children. You are. You're living in those states, a lot of you. And when you do things for those states, you're supporting the cause of that state in the one thing that they're doing that I'm talking about. You're a part of surrounding that with strength and resources. So in other words, you're cultivating 44 states marrying children, whether you like it or not. It's just the same thing as if someone that would say, if you're in Germany, you're cultivating the Nazis killing Jews. That's what you're cultivating. If you're supporting it, if you're giving resources towards it, if you're saying you're a patriot for it, you're supporting that. So I'm trying to get through to these Americans who sit back and think that you can support half of it and not the other half. It's no such thing. That's just like being married to a Nazi, a real Nazi. You can say, well, I don't like that part, but I still am married to the Nazi. No, you are supporting that part. You are a part of that part, whether you like it or not. These things these dynamics, you are in denial of. That's why this was all meant to fall apart. This is a racist system that Black people now support. You should not be supporting a racist system, and you've been doing it too long. You've been keeping this system alive. You've been keeping this racist system alive, justifying it, talking about we progressing. Well, how come you still got shootings, present day shootings I can show you right now?